Okay, let's just address the elephant in the room right off the bat. If you're a software engineer or a product manager right now, you are probably feeling completely overwhelmed, like literally drowning in the relentless hype of new AI models dropping every week, new frameworks, and what feels like 100 startup launches every single day. It is a lot to process. But take a breath because welcome to this explainer where we're going to completely cut through all of that noise. Today, we're unpacking a highly structured step-by-step roadmap, and this is designed specifically to bridge your current skills over to a highly sought-after AI engineering role. The best part? We are going to map out how to do it in just 6 months.
So tell me if this sounds familiar. Do you feel like you're already too late? You log onto LinkedIn and everyone seemingly overnight is shipping these wildly complex AI products and, man, it's easy to get intimidated. You might be sitting there thinking, how am I ever going to catch up, let alone keep up? Look, I want to validate that feeling right now. It is incredibly normal. But let's reframe that immediately. That feeling is just flat out inaccurate. The playbook for AI engineering, it's literally still being written as we speak. You are absolutely not late, but you do need to understand exactly what game it is we're playing here.
See, there's this massive misconception that you need a PhD, years of deep academic research, and incredibly heavy math to even touch AI. And yeah, if you're training foundational models from scratch, sure, but that is not what we're talking about today. We are talking about AI engineering. AI engineers take these incredibly powerful, pre-existing AI capabilities, mostly just by calling APIs, and they turn them into real-world products. You don't need a computer science degree in deep learning, you just need to know how to build things that actually work. It's a fundamentally lower barrier to entry. It's about building the car, not refining the gasoline. And here is your massive, unfair advantage right now. Your previous job title doesn't matter nearly as much as the skills you already have. Think about it. If you're a back-end developer, you already know systems, you know APIs, you know how to ship to production. Adding an AI layer, that's just a natural next step. If you're a front-end dev, you already know user experience. And let's face it, AI is increasingly all about chat interfaces and copilots. And if you're a product manager, you deeply understand user problems. If you're willing to get just a little bit technical, you have a huge edge. Basically, all you need is enough Python to call APIs, process some data, and wire the whole shebang together.
So, here's our 6-month roadmap. We'll kick things off with your fundamentals in months 0 and 1. Then we move to systems in months 2 and 3. After that, we graduate to production in months 4 and 5. And finally, we lock in your specialization in month 6. Let's jump into section 1, months 0 and 1, focusing entirely on fundamentals. Before you write a single line of code, you need to understand the bottom-up AI stack. It's like a mental map. At the very foundation, you've got the models. These are the proprietary ones like OpenAI and Anthropic, or the open source ones. Sitting right above that is the retrieval layer. This is where you use embeddings in vector databases to give your AI specific knowledge. Then comes the orchestration layer. Think LangChain or Llama Index. Honestly, this acts a lot like the middleware you're already used to, just tying the complex logic together. And finally, the application layer, which is what the user actually touches. Your mission for month 0 is simple. Pick 5 AI products you admire, maybe ChatGPT or Perplexity, and reverse engineer them in your head. Figure out what stack they're using and what trade-offs the engineers had to make. Now, as we roll into month 1, I need you to internalize this core philosophy. Prompting is not a soft skill. It is engineering. The difference between a prompt that kind of works on your laptop and one that works reliably in production for thousands of users is massive. It requires a highly systematic approach. You've got to understand tokenization, how text is actually broken down by the machine. Because guess what? That dictates your costs. You have to understand context windows. And you absolutely must master structured outputs so your app doesn't just crash when the model randomly decides to return a paragraph of text instead of the data you asked for.
All right, so the rubber meets the road here. You have to start building. Here are your concrete month 1 deliverables. First up, build a domain-specific assistant. This is going to teach you the ropes of system prompting and setting context. Second, and this is a game changer, build a structured data extractor, something that pulls beautifully clean JSON from completely messy, unstructured text. This teaches you output validation, which, trust me, will save you hours of debugging when a model decides to reply in casual English instead of code. Third, a multi-turn conversational app to master handling conversation history. But here's the real secret sauce. As you build these, you have to develop a scientific workflow. When a prompt fails, and it will, don't just randomly tweak a word and hit enter again. Analyze the failure, form a hypothesis, and make a targeted, deliberate change.
Moving right along to section 2, months 2 and 3, where we dive into systems.
The absolute, hands-down, most critical concept you are going to learn in month 2 is tool use, which is also known as function calling.
Think about it. On their own, large language models can only generate text. They can't check a calendar, they can't send an email for you, they can't run a Python script. Tool use is this massive paradigm shift where you define specific functions for the model, and the AI itself decides when it needs to use them. It essentially breaks out of the chat box and actually does something useful in the real world. But as you start building these systems, you are going to learn some really hard lessons about scale. For instance, using a 2,000 token prompt when a 500 token prompt would have gotten the job done, that isn't just sloppy. At scale, that's a 4x cost increase. Boom. Just like that. You'll quickly discover that token costs add up fast, and latency matters immensely. I mean, a 10-second response might be perfectly accurate, but users are impatient, right? That makes it practically unusable in production. Plus, prompts that only work 90% of the time will absolutely drive your users crazy. Edge cases will destroy your system if you aren't thinking like an engineer and building defensively. Okay, as we slide into month 3, your entire focus shifts to RAG, or Retrieval-Augmented Generation. Honestly, RAG is the absolute cornerstone of modern AI engineering. It is how you give your AI access to private, highly specific knowledge, like your company's internal wiki or specific databases. So it isn't just hallucinating and making things up. Building a real RAG system means you have to master how to chunk or split up documents. You need to understand how embeddings magically turn text into numbers, you need to choose the right vector database, and you have to implement complex retrieval strategies. It's a lot, but it's essential. And a central challenge of month 3 boils down to this one crucial insight. Most RAG systems fail because the retrieval is weak, not because the LLM is bad. Garbage in, garbage out, right? If you feed the model completely irrelevant context, you're going to get a garbage output no matter how incredibly smart the AI model is. Therefore, you have to build an end-to-end RAG application and then painstakingly measure it. You need to create a test set, you need to evaluate whether you are actually retrieving the correct documents. Let me tell you, this evaluation mindset is incredibly rare in the field right now. Having it, it will instantly set you apart to any hiring manager. Next up, Section 3, Months 4 and 5, where things get real. It's all about production. Month 4 introduces the big buzzword, AI agents. Now, unlike a standard system that just responds to a single one-off query, an agent autonomously takes multiple steps. It operates on a core loop. It observes its current state, it plants an action, it executes that action, updates its memory, and then repeats the whole process until the ultimate goal is achieved. Imagine building a research agent that searches the web, realizes it needs more info, searches again with a better query, synthesizes all that data, and formats a final report, all without you clicking a single button. It's pretty wild. But I do need to give you a serious warning about agents. A 10-step autonomous task involves multiple LLM calls back and forth, meaning it easily costs 10 times what a single-turn application costs. Agents are expensive. They are also significantly slower, and because they can go down some really unpredictable paths, they fail a lot. Before you start building a massively complex agent, you must always take a step back and ask yourself, would a simple, well-crafted prompt or a basic, predictable chain of commands just do this job better? Which naturally brings us to month 5, deployment. And hey, if you are a transitioning software engineer, welcome back to your home turf. Because let's be real, AI projects running solely on your local laptop create exactly zero business value. You need to get your agents and your RAG systems out into production. You'll be building your APIs with FastAPI, containerizing the whole thing with Docker, pushing it to a cloud provider like Railway or Render, and, crucially, do not skip this, implementing observability tools like Langsmith. You absolutely must be able to track latency, monitor your API costs, and handle timeouts gracefully. This rigorous production-first mindset, that is exactly the skill set companies are desperate to hire for right now. Finally, Section 4, Month 6, the specialization. Okay, to truly prepare for those interviews, you need to stop being a generalist and pick a lane. Look at actual AI engineer job descriptions out there and see what gets you excited. Do you want to build really slick user-facing AI products? Or are you more drawn to the back end, focusing on the scaling of infrastructure and deployment? Maybe you want to push the absolute envelope with agents and autonomous systems. Or do you want to get into the weeds with open source models and fine-tuning? Whatever it is, choose one track. Then, build a massive capstone project that undeniably proves your expertise in that specific area. And here's the key. Build it in public. Put your code on GitHub, post your learnings, your failures, and your wins on LinkedIn. Because in this space, visibility directly creates opportunities. I want to leave you with this final, genuinely provocative thought from the source material. This field rewards builders over studiers. It's that simple. Yes, the barriers to entry are lower than traditional math-heavy machine learning, but you still have to put in the actual reps. You can watch explainer videos and read tutorials until you're blue in the face, but reading is never going to teach you how to handle weird edge cases or what to do when an API unexpectedly breaks in production. Only building does that. So the roadmap is right there in front of you. The real question is, what are you going to commit to building today?